Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to Anime King 2, and today I'm gonna be giving you part 29 of What If Naruto Learned the Clone's Secret in the Beginning. Remember to get this one to 200 likes as usual, share this to all of your friends on your social media platform. And also guys, stay in tune for the brand new episode of What If Naruto Got His Memory Sealed Away on this channel. And I'm also gonna be posting What If Naruto was given a second chance over an Anime King. And I'm also going to be posting a new episode of What If Naruto Was a God of Wind. So stay tuned for that, and I hope you guys do enjoy. And remember, if you're new, to go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and your support. And remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new. I'll be replying and talking back to all of you. So yeah, without further ado, what do you say we begin this new episode? Start the intro. So, the last time we left off, as Nade told Naruto about the Jounin test that she wanted to participate in, seeing that the brat has already completed a lot of missions while he was out on his training trip, and Jiraiya also gave him a high recommendation, so Naruto was going to participate in Jounin tests. So with that out of the way, Naruto headed towards Deidara's shop, as he met up with Tenten, who was surprised to see him after such a long time, as she gave him a big tight hug, as both of them spent the rest of the time talking, as he also went up to grab something to eat. After that was over, Naruto went home, as his door was unlocked as he stepped inside. But then he heard something in the kitchen, as it was Temari, wearing nothing but an apron alone. As Naruto made his way in there, she was cooking for him as he couldn't keep his eyes off of her. As she told him to sit down, and she came over and started to feed him. As that eating session turned to a hot session, and both of them started to kiss, until it escalated even further. The next morning, the both of them were in the bed as Naruto got out and went to send his clone to buy some things, as he cooked breakfast for her, as she decided to take a shower. After that, Sakura came there to visit, as she wanted to show Naruto in the village, seeing that he was gone for so long, when she saw Temari, as she was surprised, as Naruto explained to her what was going on. Well, he just told her that they were hooking up. Well, they weren't really together, as Sakura told him that he should at least tell Tenten and Yujito. But he told that him and Temari was really a thing. For someone like Sakura, she didn't really understand that, because when she gave her heart to someone, she believed that they have to be in love to be together. But Naruto did not see it that way, especially now since he was immortal. So with that, Naruto headed out as he spent some time with Tenten before he was called by Kakashi, as tomorrow would be the test. The next day, as Naruto had to find the location on his own, where he was attacked by Neji wearing an Anvu mask, as he understands now why Tenten is in Neji, as Anvu couldn't tell their secrets that they were in Anvus. As Naruto was quickly able to find the location as he headed inside, as he saw Kurenai, Asuma, and Kakashi. The next test he had to do was the battle, as it was Anko, as he didn't came to visit her after coming back to the village. He sent a clone, as him and Anko started the battle. As Kakashi saw the battle going on, it didn't last for much than 5 minutes, as Naruto was able to completely restrict her, as Kakashi could see that Naruto was still holding back a lot, because he was not going all out on Anko. As the next test was Naruto to lead a team, on a A-rank mission. So the next morning Naruto arrived, but it was something else when he got there, as Gaara has been kidnapped. Tsunade gave Team 7 that mission, as she made Naruto the leader for this mission. And also, Naruto asked if he could get another person for this mission, as Tsunade wondered who did he had in mind. So yeah guys, so it's basically that's where we left off. You guys can switch across the place and check it out for yourself. So this will begin this new episode. Naruto's first stop was not the gates of Konoha. It was the weapon shop, as he saw Tenten. She had a bored look on her face as she was behind the counter. Tenten noticed him as she smiled instantly, but then she noticed the look on his face. Naruto, what's wrong? She asked. I need you to come with me on a mission. You up for it? He asked. What kind of mission? She asked. The S-class kind, said Naruto. Let me grab my scrolls, she said. As she went up the stairs, she came back moments later with a large scroll strapped across her back. as the both of them headed off to meet up with Sakura and Kakashi at the south gate. While they were going to the gate, Naruto gave her the lowdown, telling her that Gaara has been kidnapped by the Akatsuki, and it was their job to go there and rescue him. This sounds like a tough mission, Tenten said, as they caught up with the other group. We're up against S-class ninjas, said Sakura. Tough is an understatement a little. I'm sure that will be alright, said Kakashi, as he wasn't reading his book, as he understood the gravity of the situation. At the front of the gate was Jiraiya, as he had his stroller in his back, looking like he was going somewhere. Knowing him, Naruto knew that he was probably going to gather information at Akatsuki. Erasenin, said Naruto. I am not going to stop you from going on this mission, Jiraiya said. You're ready for this. It's what I train you for. However, I am going to tell you to be careful. We still don't know which members of the Akatsuki kidnapped the Kazekage. For all we know, they could be the worst matchup for you. So be sure to stay on your toes and do not underestimate them. You don't have to worry about that, Sensei, said Naruto. I'm not alone on this mission after all. I suppose that's true, he said, looking over the group. Still, be careful. I will, said Naruto. As Jiraiya placed a hand on Naruto's shoulder and gave him a smile. You've grown a lot stronger. Go out there and do what you have to do. Will do, said Naruto. As Jiraiya then went over to Kakashi, as Nadia and Aruka walked up to the gate from the Hokage's tower direction. Neither of them said anything. Naruto assumed that they merely come to see him off. This mission was dangerous, S-class missions. Death. None of them were guaranteed. The S stood for suicidal, as in you probably had a death wish for taking them. I'm leaving Naruto in your hands, Kakashi, Jiraiya said. He's gotten a lot stronger, but he's still a bit rougher on the edges. He doesn't have the same experience that you do, so I want you to help him grow as best as you can. Don't worry, said Kakashi with a eye smile. I'll do everything in my power to help out. Good, I'm counting on you. Sakura, said Snappy. Take care of yourself on this mission. I've trained you well, but S-class criminals are not one you can underestimate. I know, Snappy-sama, Sakura says. She smiles. She tightened her gloves. I'm not going to underestimate anyone. Besides, I got Naruto and Kakashi-sensei with me. You know, I feel like I've been forgotten, said Tenten. I didn't forget you, Naruto said. As she smiled, thanks. Are you two ready, Naruto called out to Kakashi and Sakura? We need to get going. The longer we stay here, the more unlikely we'll be to rescue Gaara. Alright, let's go. Make sure you keep up. We're running hard, said Naruto, as Naruto dashed off. As they kept moving, as they closed the distance between Konoha and the sand, Naruto saw someone in the distance. Temari, he shouted out. Temari stopped walking and she turned and she saw Naruto and the others landed right in front of her. Naruto, she said, as she looked at the others before focusing back on him again. What are you doing here, she asked. I'm guessing you haven't heard it, said Naruto. Gaara has been kidnapped by the Akatsuki. A sign of worry and fear came over her face, as that was understandable. We're heading to the sand now, said Naruto. Temari and then took off, as they ran and ran and ran until night came. As Naruto wanted to keep going, but he understood his group needed rest, as they need to be well rested when arriving on the hidden sand. We'll camp out here for the night, Naruto said, choosing a clearing. I'll prepare a fire, said Sakura. I'll catch some food, said Tenten. In that case, a secured perimeter, said Kakashi. Naruto, Temari said rather softly. What are they gonna do with my brother, she said. I won't tell you not to worry, because I'm worried as well. But I'm going to do everything in my power to save Gaara. You can count on it. She looked at Naruto, as tears were in her eyes, but she refused to let them spill. She walked over and leaned right on his chest, as he wrapped his arms around her in a hug. Time skip. As Tenten was easily able to capture some fish, a lot of them, as she was very efficient in her kunai throwing after all. This should be enough, she said, as she was going back. She then suddenly stopped as she hid behind a tree. As she peeked up from behind the tree, looking if what she saw was just an illusion or something, as she looked to see Naruto and Temari hugging, as the both of them just held one another right there. As she wondered when has these two gotten so close? Were they seeing each other? How? How could this have happened? As she continued to stare, she heard footsteps behind her. Tenten, Sakura said, I got the firewood so we can start cooking those. Tenten quickly placed a hand over Sakura's mouth and pulled her behind the tree. As she looked out again to make sure Naruto and Temari hadn't seen them. Be quiet, she said. Sakura quieted down and moved Tenten's hand. What is going on? Temari and Naruto are holding each other, she whispered, as she looked back out. They were still doing it. How long were they planning to do that? When did they get so close? What is going on here? Sakura hesitated before saying a hesitant voice. You mean you don't know? Know what, said Tenten. Sakura sighed before explaining what she had seen 2 mornings ago at Naruto's apartment. As Tenten felt like someone had dropped an anvil right on her chest. Time skip. Tenten had been really quiet that entire night during dinner. When everyone went to bed, Even when they woke up in the morning, she never said a single word to Naruto. The only person she spoke to was Sakura and Kakashi. She just didn't spoke to Temari or Naruto. Naruto then asked her what was bothering her, but they didn't have time. After breakfast next morning, Naruto set them off at a grueling pace once again. Naruto, slow down, Sakura said, as he was moving incredibly fast and he'd been running for 5 hours now. I'm sorry, Sakura, but we can't slow down, said Naruto. But if we keep going like this, Sakura said, then surely you don't get it, Sakura, Naruto said. Gaara has been taken by those bastards. If we don't get there soon, there's no telling what they will do to him. They're after a Shikaku that has been sealed inside of him, just like they're after me for the Kyuubi. You know that, don't you? That Gaara and I are both Jinchuriki. As Sakura looked down, her eyes in sorrow. So she did know. Naruto wasn't surprised. As Tsunade apprentice, it was obvious that Tsunade would have told Sakura about this sometime. It made even more sense because she was his teammate, and seeing that they're going up against a threat like the Akatsuki. No more words were spoken as they traveled through the trees. Hours later, they made it to a vast desert as a sandstorm was currently taking place. Damn it, Naruto said. You all might as well sit down, he said. There's nothing much we can do against this sandstorm. We'll have to wait till it clears away. Sandstorms are incredibly dangerous, Temari said. Even we sand ninjas do not walk through the sand when a sandstorm is brewing, she said. I heard of travelers dying out in the desert after trying to brave one. They cause people to lose their sense of direction, and some sandstorms have winds that are strong enough to flay the flesh from your bones. As the rest of the group came over, as Naruto noticed Tenten stay as far away from him and Temari as possible. The storm did not let up for the entire day. That meant they lost a full 24 hours. So, when they finally arrived at the hidden sand, they saw the walls, as two people were standing at the entrance. We've been waiting for you, the one on the left said, as he noticed Temari in the group. Lady Temari, I hadn't realized you were coming with them. We met on the way here, Temari said. What's the situation? Follow me, one of them said. As they rushed off, on the way, one of the ninjas told them something. What? Temari almost screamed. They got Kankuro too? Yes, when the enemy took the Kazekage, Kankuro went after them himself, and he got poisoned. We've done everything we can, but we haven't been able to find a cure for him. The situation was looking more grim by the second. Gaara was kidnapped, Kankuro was poisoned. It seemed like each second, more problems was just popping up everywhere. As they made their way to the hospital, Kankuro Temari shouted as she rushed inside. As Sakura rushed ahead, there was an old woman in the room as Kakashi stepped forward in front of the door. You, the woman said. As she rushed forward, White Fang of Konoha prepared to die. The woman leaped forward as Naruto jumped in the way and grabbed her hand. But he felt, even though she looked old, she's not that weak. She tried to kick him as he jumped away. Hey, who the hell do you think you are, Granny, said Naruto. But she ignored him. White Fang of Konoha. As she pointed Kakashi, do not think I forget what you did to my son. I shall finally take my revenge on you. Hold on, Chiyo, our old man said as he stepped right in front of her. Take a closer look at him. It is true that there's a resemblance. And remember, we heard that White Fang died a long time ago. Don't you remember that day? As the woman took a good look at Kakashi. Oh, well, never mind, she said. She started to laugh. As Naruto wondered if she was crazy or something. The moment was interrupted when Kankuro gasped as he started to grab at his throat. As Sakura quickly tied her hair in a ponytail as she got to work. As the three decided to stay outside. As Temari wanted to stay, but Baki placed a hand on her shoulder. As she nodded as he gave Sakura space. As Naruto sat on the bench with Lady Chiyo and the old man. As Kakashi and Tenten remained standing. As Temari sat right next to him close enough that their thighs were touching. Without even looking away from the door, her hand reached over as he grabbed onto Naruto as he held her hand tight, reassuring her. As Naruto watched as several of the ninjas went off as they came back with different items. Temari, Sakura called. Come in here. I will need your and Baki's help to hold down Kankuro. This next part is going to be difficult for him. Got it, said Temari as she released Naruto's hand as she and Baki went inside. As Naruto noticed Tenten looking at him. Something wrong, Tenten, he asked. You and Temari, she said, hesitating a bit. No, never mind. As Naruto sighed as he thought that perhaps she wanted to ask about his relationship with Temari. Anyone would be curious. But they weren't really dating or really in a relationship. They were just sex partners. That was all Naruto could offer. As Naruto closed his eyes, he had been running for a long time. As he ended up falling asleep until Sakura came out and said that she was finished. As a relief look was on Temari's face, happy that her brother was going to be okay. You remind me of the old slug princess, said Lady Chiyo. Well, I am her apprentice, said Sakura, and it was by her orders that I come here. As the old man beside her spoke, it seems like time has passed us by. Perhaps it's a sign that our generation has truly ended and make way for a new one. As Lady Chiyo said nothing. After half an hour, the group was called inside as Kankuro was regaining consciousness. As he slowly opened his eyes. As his eyes looked around the room, Kankuro, "You alright?" Temari asked. "Temari, you're back already," he said. "I heard the village was in trouble," she said. "I'm sorry to be such a bother," he said to her. "Don't be ridiculous. You're not a bother at all." "Kakashi," said Naruto. "Right. Do you think that someone can take me to the site where Kankuro battled against the Akatsuki?" As Buck gave him a confused look. "I'm known for having a pretty good nose. If there even is a small trace of their scent, no need for that." "Did you guys bring back my puppy?" Kankuro asked. "Yes, we recovered them," said Baki. "Go get me Karasu. I might get a piece of the Akatsuki clothing." As they brought the puppet over, as the hand opened up, revealing a piece of cloth. As he then looked around. Is that you, Naruto?" he asked. "Hey, makeup man," Naruto said. "You look like shit. I can see why you wear makeup now." "Huh, still the joker, I see," said Kankuro, too tired to argue back. As Kakashi went through hand signs, "Summoning jutsu," he said. As there was a poof of smoke. There was a lot of dogs that Kakashi summoned. "Hey, Kakashi," said Pakon. Kakashi kneeled down and held out his hand with the cloth in it. "I need you guys to find out where the owner of this cloth went." As all of them sniffed at it. "Don't worry, Kakashi. We'll be right on it," said Pakon. And with that, all of them scatter. As Naruto looked, as Sakura went off with one of the other medics. "Tenten," he said, "I would like you to prepare our supplies when Pakon and the other dogs pick up the scent. Since we're going up against S-rank ninjas, we will need to be prepared. But none of us, outside from you, has the necessary equipment to be with them." "You got it," Tenten said as she nodded and vanished. As the two old people then walked up to Kankuro, Kankuro said Chiyo. "Chiyo-sama, Ebisu-sama, you two are here too?" "Kankuro, there is something that only you can tell us," said Chiyo. "Am I correct? Was one of your opponents that you fought sorcery?" "Yes," said Kankuro. "It was sorcery of the red sand. He told me so himself." As Lady Chiyo looked over at Kankuro's puppet, they looked like they were ripped apart. As Naruto looked where Lady Chiyo was looking, on the back of the puppet was a red scorpion symbol. "Sorcerer of the red sand, huh?" said Kakashi. "From the look on your face, I say you know something about the person that we're up against. Will you tell us?" Lady Chiyo seemed reluctant to say anything, as Naruto was about to push her to give them information. But at that moment, Sakura came in with the antidote, which she gave to Kankuro. It was a drink of some kind. Even after taking it, he didn't look much better. It will probably take some time for it to work. "You should be feeling better by tomorrow. Make sure you get lots of rest though. Your body needs to recover as well," she said. "Speaking of rest, we prepare room for all of you," said Baki. "Thank you," said Naruto. "We would love to head off right now, but it's gonna be a while before Bakon pick up the scent. And as much as I hate to admit it, we're gonna need rest if we're going up against the Akatsuki." As they were about to be shown their room, Kankuro then spoke. "Naruto, please save my little brother," he said. As the two elders seemed surprised by Kankuro asking that, but Naruto gave him a smile. "Don't worry, I'm gonna do everything in my power to save him. After all, Gaara is one of my friends." The group was given 2 rooms at the hotel, one for him and Kakashi, and one for Sakura and Tenten. When they entered their hotel, Naruto looked around at the standard furniture of the 2-bedroom. There were couches, table and chairs, and a large nightstand. He didn't have anything else, but that was okay. He didn't really need much else. As he took off his ninja pouch and set on the table, and took off his sandals. "Are we getting comfortable, are we?" said Kakashi. As he was already flipping through the page of his book. "Are you reading porn, are we?" said Naruto. "Touché," said Kakashi as he flipped another page. As Naruto then crossed his legs as he sat down in bed. He tried to enter the seal, but nothing. No matter how hard he tried, still couldn't get through. It was like something was blocking his path. "Something wrong?" "Just problems with my inner furry," said Naruto. "I see," said Kakashi. In the quiet that set over them, Naruto could only wonder. Akane wasn't talking to him anymore. Time skip the next morning. As Pakon was already waiting for them outside the hotel. "Kakashi, I found the Akatsuki secret base," he said. "Really?" As Kakashi pulled out a map, where would they be on this map? Pakon stood the map for several seconds before pointing to the spot. As they were hiding in a canyon that had a river in it. "Alright," said Kakashi as he rolled the scroll and placed it back in his pouch. "Thanks for the help, Pakon. Can I ask you for one more favor? Please keep an eye on the place that the Akatsuki are hiding. I want to know if they change location again." Will do, Pakon said. I'll see you guys later. As Naruto created a clone and sent it off, the clone was to inform Temari that her brother has been found, so they can send a team with them. If he knew Temari as he thought as he did, he knew that she'd want to rescue Gaara as well. About 10 minutes later, Temari and 4 other ninjas arrived. He didn't know 3 of them, a guy wearing sunglasses, a woman with purple triangle paint on her cheeks, and another man with grey hair and thick sideburns, but he knew the young girl. Naruto couldn't remember her name, but he was sure that she was Gaara Old, Jounin's student. Sorry it took so long, Temari said. We're all ready to go. Alright then, Naruto said, let's head off. Hold on, Baki said, as he dropped down from the roof. I'm sorry, Temari, he said, but you and your squad need to remain here, to patrol the perimeter. What? You can't be serious, she said. These are orders from above, said Baki. If word gets out that the Kazekage is missing, enemies can use this as an opportunity to launch attacks on the village. Are you kidding me, said Temari. These Konoha ninjas come all the way here to rescue our Kazekage, but you're telling me that I can't? What sort of a reason could there be to not let the Sand Ninja rescue their own Kazekage? Baki looked away. I'm sorry. As Naruto had a thought in his head why, Gaara was a deterrent, a weapon that he can use to point at the enemy. But if he comes up to it, they wouldn't risk so much to get him back. He could think that many on the council still think this way. After all, they were the ones that made him into that. He did not voice these thoughts though, it was only a theory, and saying these would have only hurt Temari. Well then, I guess I'm going, said the voice, as everyone looked up, as Lady Chiyo jumped off and landed. If a Sand Shinobi is needed, then I'll be the one to go, she said. Granted, Chiyo, said Temari. Baki looked at her, but I'm retired, yes, she said with a smile. Which means I'm free to do whatever I want, she said. Yes, but the journey will be difficult, the woman in triangle painted on her cheek said. Bah, don't treat me like some fossil. After all, it's been a long time since I saw my grandchild, she said. As she put an end to the conversation, she's going. Time skip. The group had been moving for some time now, hopping from tree branch to tree branch, until they heard something. They all had to jump away, as something ripped through several trees before hitting the ground a boom. As smoke and dust filled the area, and tree barks and splinters. When everything cleared away, Naruto saw who it was, as he noticed the man's fish-like appearance. Kisame. Well, if it is the 9-tailed brat that gave me so much trouble 3 years ago, said Kisame as he chuckled. I see that you've grown a bit. I wonder, have you gotten any stronger? Tintin eyes widened. That's Kisame, said Kakashi. It's been a while since I've seen your ugly mug, said Naruto. Aren't you and Itachi always together? Unfortunately, he's no longer with us. My beloved partner is gone. As Naruto was surprised, Itachi was dead. Oh, who did him in, if you don't mind me asking? Curious, huh? Oh, I'm just wondering, Naruto said, because Sasuke would be disappointed to know that his brother died before he killed him. Sasuke, huh? Kisame pulled Shamihata off his shoulder and smashed it into the ground. If you want to know who defeated Itachi, then you're gonna have to beat me and pry the information out of me. As Naruto quickly realized what Kisame was doing, he was just taunting them. He was baiting them to keep them from rescuing Gaara in time. Sakura, Tenten, Chiyo, Kakashi and I will deal with Kisame. I want you 3 to head towards the coordinates and begin the rescue mission. Sakura and Tenten looked like they want to complain, however, they were experienced kunoichi, and they also realized that Naruto was in charge of this mission. Even if they disagree, they steal themselves. Right, we'll begin rescuing Gaara. Hurry up and finish this guy so you can back us up. Otherwise, we'll finish the mission without you. Be safe, Naruto, said Tenten. As Kakashi knew that Pakon was near the Akatsuki hideout, so he wasn't worried about them getting lost. As Kisame didn't really seem to care, because he didn't see them as a threat. So it's about if you, said Kisame, as he raised Samihata above his head. Well then, let's get this battle started. I'm itching to see some blood. As Kisame tossed Samihata up in the air, as he took in a deep breath, holding in something in his mouth, as he slammed his hands together. Get ready, Naruto, said Kakashi, as he bent his knees. Naruto started circling his chakra. Don't worry, Sensei. I was born ready, he said, as he was going to go right out from the beginning. Kisame then spewed out a tidal wave of water from his mouth as he started right on top of it. As Naruto understood why they call this guy the Tailless Tail Beast. The massive wave fell as Naruto and Kakashi had to jump away. Trees were crushed under the water force as they managed to jump into a taller tree that had survived because of his size. But Kisame's smirk as the water that he was riding on was swelling and rising higher and higher. Kakashi-sensei, on it, said Kakashi. As the Sharingan was out in the open as he went to one side, lightning blade as he leaped forward. Both him and Kisame met as Kakashi cut right through him like he was water. which he was as he burst into water. Water clone? When did he? As Kisame burst out of the water behind Kakashi and swept Samihata, but Kakashi dodged it by a mere inch. As Kakashi realized that Kisame they were talking to this time was a water clone the entire time, because Kakashi would have seen him create the water clone. Kakashi jumped and released a Konoha Senpyu that was blocked by Samihata, but the attack had enough power to launch Kisame off his water structure. Now is my chance, said Naruto, as dark purple chakra exploded from his body. As his body started to change, his muscles became stronger. Nails turned to claws. His teeth turned to fangs. As his eyes became purple, all of his senses became sharper. His eyes could see every single leaf on a tree. He could smell the salt in the water Kisame had released. I can keep this up for a full 2 hours now, but I hope I don't need that much time. As Naruto launched himself at Kisame. As Kisame was battling taijutsu with Kakashi, you're not nearly as good as that green idiot in taijutsu. Well, my specialty is ninjutsu, but I'm still good enough to battle against you. Huh, you got him out on... Kisame couldn't finish that sentence. As Naruto's face smashed into his face, it was like a cannon blast going off. Kisame was sent sailing with so much force. Wind chakra exploded from Naruto's feet and hands as he appeared above Kisame in a burst of speed. Uzumaki ranked Naruto as he spun and drop kicked Kisame right in the gut. Blood exploded from Kisame's mouth as Kisame crashed into the water. As Naruto descended down towards the ground, the water exploded as 2 clones came out. Naruto ducked under Samihata and sliced through the first one before spinning around and planting his foot right in the next one's face. 3 more Kisames then burst from the water as Naruto looked over to see Sensei fighting against clones as well. Naruto then jumped straight up in the air as Kisame clones followed after him, but he waved his hand as a burst of wind chakra exploded from his body, tearing them to shreds. As Naruto's eyes started scanning everywhere until he started to fall, he then channeled chakra into his hand as a purple Rasengan formed. It became bigger and bigger and bigger until Naruto had to hold it over his head. Naruto then smashed down into the massive wave of water below him. The water was blown apart as the Rasengan drilled right through it. The moment the Rasengan touched the ground, it exploded outwards as the water was rippled, blown as cracks appear all over the ground. Massive chasms came as well, ripping through the ground in a large area. All the water and the forest that was around them was now gone, as Naruto was standing right in the crater. As Naruto looked, as there wasn't any sign of Kisame around. Please warn me the next time you do something like that, said Kakashi as he climbed out of the ground several meters away. As he walked over to Naruto whistling, "You've done quite some damage here. I had no idea you had this kind of destructive power." As Naruto releases hybrid mode, my hybrid mode grant me a lot of destructive powers, but it consumes chakra more quickly. But I can last up to 2 hours in it, Naruto said. But I can't fire off techniques like this one just willy-nilly. I can see why, said Kakashi. Do you think that got him? Naruto asked. I don't know, said Kakashi, but I'll guess so. Guess again, said the voice. Water burst on the ground and trapped the both of them before they could even go off. Water prison complete. As Kisame emerged a distance away, as 2 pair of water clones came from the ground as well. As Naruto realized that Kisame used his attack as a cover and hid underground, and waited there, were off guard. I have to admit, said Kisame, you two have given me a lot more trouble than I thought you would. I see now why the zombie brothers lost you, Nine-Tailed Brat. But those two are as nowhere near powerful as I am. So I see, said Kakashi behind Kisame, as Naruto looked over to see the Kakashi in the water prison disappear in a poof. As he swung a kunai towards Kisame's neck, but Kisame blocked it with Samihata. As the both of them started to clash, as Naruto used his chance, as the water around him started to behave violently, as the clones started to look at him until the thing exploded. Naruto released a burst of chakra from his body. The clones attacked him, but he quickly subdued the both of them with ease, until he heard Kakashi wince in pain. As he looked to see Kakashi's hand bleeding from what looked like teeth marks, as he had held on to Samihata. As Naruto saw several spikes from Samihata. Naruto, I want you to hold him off for at least 30 seconds, said Kakashi. I was hoping not to use this, until I really have to, but I guess I do. Got it, said Naruto. As Naruto dashed forward and slashed his hand, several wind blades came out of it. But the sword swallowed up his attack like it was nothing, as Naruto dodged right under Samihata, as he thrust his fist forward. But Kisame brought Samihata around with incredible reflex and speed, but Naruto jumped away before the sword could attack him, as he saw spikes came from the bandages. Naruto then went through hands as he sent out 2 wind-sized fists towards Kisame. It was blocked by Samehata, but Naruto was just distracting Kisame so Kakashi could do what he was going to do. As Naruto noticed that Kakashi was getting ready, as he jumped for the Rasengan and clashed against Samehata. As Naruto kept on pumping more and more chakra. "Do you really think that you can stand up against me?" said Kisame with a smirk. "Well, let's try," said Naruto. Naruto moves to Kakashi. As Naruto jumped away, Kakashi eye morphing into the monkey to Sharingan. Kisame screamed as something black appeared around him. He tried to leap back, but he was too late. Dark red blood exploded out of him as he was ripped in 2 by this strange vortex thing, as his body was thrown left and right. But then Naruto saw something that surprised him as he walked over. "Kakashi." "Yeah," said Kakashi. "That's definitely not Kisame. But whoever this is, he must be someone high in the hidden sand. Judging by those robes, only member of the council wear that. I remember hearing something about one of their members going missing. Think this is him? It is certainly possible. I'll seal him away, Naruto, so we can have Baki identify him later. Right now, rescuing Gaara is our top priority." "You're right." As they seal away the 2 half. "Alright," Naruto said, "let's get going." The 2 move off with top speed as they were able to catch up back with the others. As they let Chio identify the body, it was Yura. She only had one possibility for this. It was a sleeper agent, because it couldn't be that this man had been in the council for so long and been a spy for the Akatsuki the entire time. If he was a sleeper agent, he wouldn't even know himself, Naruto said, until the jutsu was activated. That would keep anyone from figuring out that he was a spy. Yes, I suppose it would, said Chio. As that opened a new can of worms. How many more people were sleeper agents on the council? This was truly messy. As the group had stopped when nightfall came, as Naruto set up a perimeter all around them with tags, so no enemy could come in, because he would feel their chakra right away. As Chio was awake, along with Kakashi. "Can I ask you something?" she asked. "Go ahead," he said. "Why is Naruto so determined to save Gaara?" As Kakashi looked over at Naruto, he was leaned up against a tree with his eyes closed. "There are many reasons, and Naruto and Gaara are actually friends. He spent 6 months in the hidden sand trying to control his wind chakra, and they spar many times from what I know. However, if I had to give the biggest reason, I would say it's because Naruto is also a Jinchuriki. More than anyone else, he knows the pain that Gaara is going through, because he experienced that exact same pain, and that gave both of them something to bond over." As it was a few moments of silence before Chio spoke. "I have lived for a long time. Long enough that I've been through 2 shinobi wars, and I was there for the ascension of the Kazekage. In all that time, I never imagined, ever, that we would be in this position. Life is certainly full of changes and surprise," said Kakashi. "Indeed it is," said Chio as she looked out. Naruto had the team wake up as they packed up their camp and headed off. 5 days has already went by before Gaara was kidnapped. They can't afford to delay any longer, as they arrived to see a large cave with a large stone in front of it. As Naruto jumped on top of the stone, "I know this. This is the 5 seal barrier technique. A flowing jutsu seal." As he looked around, it is created to place 5 seals of kanji, forbidden, around certain different areas. We won't be able to get it unless 5 sealing tags are removed at the same time. "Then we should split up and remove them," said Tenten. "No," said Naruto. "That is exactly what they want us to do. They probably have traps set about each barrier side to keep whoever pulled them off occupied. We only lose fighting strength that way." "Then what should we do?" said Sakura. "Multi-shell clone jutsu," said Naruto. As 5 clones appear, they all knew what to do, so all of them but one shut off. The remaining clone took Naruto's spot as Naruto jumped down. "Sakura, once my clone pull off this seal, I want you to break this boulder down." "You got it," said Sakura. She cracked her knuckles. "Everyone, make sure you're prepared," said Naruto. "We won't know what is inside until we get in there." "Got it," Sakura said. "I'm ready," said Tenten. As Kakashi pulled up his headband, but he kept his eye closed. His clones created another clones and dispelled them to tell that they were ready, as all of them gripped it at the same time, counting down. Each clone was going to pull off the tag in 1, 2, 3, as they all ripped it off. Sakura leaped forward and she smashed her fist as the clone pushed away. The entire boulder was broken down with tremendous force, as all of them rushed inside the cave. As Naruto's eyes quickly scanned all over before stopping, as Naruto saw a monster in there with multiple eyes. as 3 bodies were there. One of them were lying on the ground that someone else was sitting on, and the other one was hunched down. As Naruto immediately recognized Gaara, and the other 2 that were there, wearing the Akatsuki clothing as well. As Naruto didn't even need to get close to see that Gaara was dead. If he was alive, he wouldn't let that blonde hair member sit on him like that. Huh, you guys are late. Do you know how long we've been waiting for you? Now tell me, which one of you is a 9-tailed Jinchuriki? A red haze fell over Naruto as his eyes, they seem to be getting out of focus every second and coming back into focus as rage started to fill him. But still he spoke. I assume that you're the one that captured Gaara. As he looked at Deidara. So then, you're Sorcery of the Red Sand, Naruto said. You hear that, Sorcery? This kid knows us. Are you Konoha Jinchuriki? I was told that he was a brat with blonde hair, but you seem very calm. Was our information wrong? Kakashi, said Naruto. I'm going to separate those 2 from Gaara's body. I want you to take it somewhere safe. As Kakashi opened his eye. You got it, he said. Sakura, Tenten, Chiyo. You 3 can deal with Sorcery once I separate them. The blonde one, he's mine. As they didn't say anything, but they were ready. As Naruto threw himself forward, transforming in a second, as purple chakra irradiated from his body as he launched himself in front of them. Deidara was completely caught off guard by the speed. As Naruto drove his foot right into the man's face. As Naruto felt satisfied when he heard a cracking sound as the man was sent sailing and smashed into a large statue. As Sasori leaped back and sent out a tail towards Naruto. As Naruto created a Rasengan in a second and smashed it right in tail, blowing it apart. Naruto then launched himself forward as Sasori tried to open his mouth, but Naruto was too fast as Naruto smashed right through Sasori's body. But his hand went through because this was a wooden feeling. This was some kind of puppet. As a shadowed figure jumped away from the body as Naruto kicked away the puppet body, breaking it as well. As Kakashi came over and grabbed Gaara and hurried back outside. As Sakura, Tenten and Chiyo appear around the thing that leapt away. You surprised me, a young voice said as the thing get up. I did not expect such speed and power. It seems like our information we got on you was inaccurate. I guess that is what we get for listening to that idiot Hidan. As he pulled off the cloak. The show is red messy here. This can't be, said Chiyo. What's wrong, Granny Chiyo? Said Sasori. Are you so filled with emotion you can't speak? I'm not surprised. It is our first reunion in 20 years. Sasori, you... Hey Deidara, said Sasori. How long do you plan to lie here? I'm coming, Deidara said. Just give me a minute to recover. As his clothes were torn and multiple scratches and bruises on his face. You can't be too harsh on me. That hit really knocked me for a loop. I was actually unconscious until a few seconds ago. I do not care what injuries you're suffering from. We have a job to do, said Sasori. You can be so harsh, Sasori. You 3, take on Sasori, Naruto said. I'll take on the blonde one. I'll help you, said Tenten. No, said Naruto, as he accidentally snapped at her. But he grimaced when she recalled in shock. As he took a breath. Sorry, but no. My abilities from this moment on are going to be too destructive. They're most likely are going to catch you as my enemies. It is better for all of us if you help Sakura and Chiyo. But I wanted to help you, she said. I'm sorry, said Naruto. But in a battle of this caliber, I'm afraid I can't hold back. Which I'll be forced to do if you fought alongside me. So you're saying I'm a burden, she asked. Of course not. I'm saying that my own powers are too destructive and I don't have enough control over them to fight alongside other people. However, to win this battle, I can't afford to hold back. If I have to hold back so I don't accidentally kill my teammates, I won't be able to win. Look, Sasori is the most dangerous opponent from what I've seen. Chiyo and Sakura need help from what I've seen. Please help them, said Naruto. Tenten sighed. Alright, fine, she said. Thank you, said Naruto. That foolish blonde seemed to think that you're more powerful than me, said Deidara. That foolish blonde is also onto something. And I will also point out that you're blonde as well, idiot. Whatever, Deidara says, he held out his hand. As there was a mouth on his hand that spat something out, Deidara formed one hand sign as a giant bird was created. Sasori, I'm sorry to say this, he says. He hopped onto the bird, but I think I'm gonna take that Jinchuriki as well. See ya, as the bird lifted out and flew out of the cabin. Only one thing mattered now, catching up to Deidara and tearing him apart, as Naruto rocked off the ground like an explosion. Time skip. Kakashi didn't know how far he should travel, as he was holding onto Gaara's body, as the safest place right now was his hand, but that will take days to reach. So that was out. This would have been more easier if Naruto had been more specific. As he came upon the clearing where him and Naruto had fought Kisame, he stopped. Several people were there studying the battle site. Sand Ninja, he recognized Baki and Temari, but he didn't know the others by name. Baki, Temari, Kakashi said as he rushed over to the two of them. Is that Gaara? Said Temari, as she noticed a figure on his shoulder. Kakashi nodded as he set Gaara on the ground, as the others quickly circled around him. As Temari realized, No, she said. She covered her mouth. I can't believe it, Baki said. Our Kazekage has been killed. I'm sorry, said Kakashi. We found out where they have taken Gaara, but we arrived too late. Temari fell to her knees as she started crying Gaara's chest. Can you inform us what happened, said Baki, as Kakashi nodded and told them everything that happened. Meanwhile, Naruto was getting more furious, as every time that he would jump after Deidara, he kept on firing explosive stones on him. Is that all you can do, said Deidara. If this is all, then looks like the Jinchuriki has nothing special about them. After all, we just killed one. This man is taunting you. Yes, he is. Do you hate him? I do. As Naruto unleashed a big ball of wind and fired it towards Deidara. Deidara smirked as he let the bird fly to the side, but suddenly the wind spear exploded, ripping into one of the bird's wing. As Deidara had to jump off, as the wind blades burst out in vacuums to slice up everything, even tearing apart his bird. As Naruto tracked Deidara as he saw Deidara falling. Kill him, make him suffer, tear him limb from limbs, rip him apart. Naruto channeled wind chakra behind him and fired off as he started to sail down like a bullet. As Deidara fired up several clay towards Naruto, but purple chakra exploded from Naruto's body. Guts, Deidara said, but Naruto fly right through the explosion, not caring. As Naruto waved his hand down as a massive winged spear appeared, ripping into Deidara, but he exploded. He was a clay clone. Naruto landed as he tried to sniff out his prey. They smelled like clay. It should have been easy, but there was so many clay. As Naruto's eyes started to change, everything around him then started to turn green. As he started to see people's body signature, as he saw 4 other signatures far away from him over there. One of them looking strange, signifying Sasuke's puppet body, and one of them were near to him. You're mine. As Naruto formed wrestling and leaped forward towards Chakra Source. As the thing was trying to escape, as Naruto was sawing the orange thing trying to run away, several smaller orange objects came at him, but Naruto thrust the wrestling gun forward and teared them all to pieces. Naruto thrust out his hand as 2 large purple claws came out of him and grabbed onto the thing that was running away. What the hell is this? There was nothing in our information that said that you had this much power. What the hell is going on? The noise coming from this creature was starting to irritate him as Naruto clenched the purple claws that ripped through this thing, crushing bones and tearing its body apart. Yes, he had killed it. That annoying blob. That annoying blob. He should just find more of them and kill them. As Naruto stopped, as he shook his head, something was wrong. What was he doing? As he shook his head again, as the orange color started to fade and the world started to return back to normal, as the chakra arms disappeared. As Naruto blinked several times to see the bloody carcass of Deidara on the ground. As Naruto realized what happened, that voice in his head, the seal must be weakening. He has to tell Jiraiya about this. That means him was trying to get free, Naruto's other half. As Naruto made his way back, where he could sense the other people. As he saw Kakashi, he could hear Temari crying from a distance away. As he made his way over, Temari, he said. She lifted up her head, as she wiped her eyes. Before looking at Naruto, you promised. You promised me that you'd rescue him. You said nothing would stop you from rescuing him. Was all that a lie? Was your promise so worthless to you that you couldn't even save my brother? She asked. She came forward and started pounding her face on his chest. But Naruto didn't say anything because he understands how she must be feeling. And he understands why she was doing this now. All that rage and anguish had to go somewhere. It was better for her to let out her feelings right there on him than to bottle them away. I'm sorry, he said. Temari started to pound their fists even slower as they finally dropped to her sides. Why? Why did it have to be Gaara? Hasn't he suffered enough? As she started to cry, as he wrapped his arms around her, letting her let it all out. This was a scene that Lady Chio, Sakura, and Tenten came onto. The 3 of them looked a little worse for wear, as Sakura and Tenten had numerous cuts on their arms. as Tenten's shirt was torn, a large torn on her side. Likewise, she was injured, but Sakura, our Chiyo, healed her. But Lady Chiyo didn't look too bad injury-wise, but there was a tiredness on her that wasn't there before. Baki Chiyo said, "You all followed us." Yes, we managed to convince the council that it was necessary for us to find the Kazekage ourselves, though we arrived far too late to be of any help. As Chiyo looked down as there was a few seconds of silence. "I see," she said. "Don't worry, I'll bring him back." As everyone walked over, as Chiyo knelt down. "What do you mean, Lady Chiyo?" asked Temari. "I mean just what I said," as she placed her hands on Gaara's chest that were enveloped in a dome of chakra. "I am bringing the Kazekage back, using a reincarnation jutsu, a jutsu only I know. However, I can only use this once." Baki's eyes widened. "Wait, you aren't talking about the Kisho Tensei, are you?" "What else would I be talking about?" "But I'm old," she said, interrupting him. "I have lived a very long life." As she looked down at Gaara. "But this boy, I see great things in his future. To be able to create friendship already like this. And not to mention I was forced to back my own grandson. And right now I am poisoned. Even if I want to live, I am not long for this world." Lady Chiyo said, "Sakura, why didn't you say anything? And were you both? You two needed the antidote. More than an old bag like me did. The young ones must live after all." The blue glow was getting weaker, fading. If Naruto had to guess, she didn't have enough chakra to perform it. "I want to do this," she said. "I was the one that made him into a weapon in the first place by sealing the Shikaku inside of him. At least I can do is give him a second chance to go on." As Lady Chiyo started to sweat even more and getting tired, as Naruto stepped forward, he placed a hand on Lady Chiyo's back and sent his chakra into her. Lady Chiyo's eyes went wide. "Don't just kneel there looking shocked," he said. "You don't have enough chakra to do this on your own, do you?" "Well, I got plenty of chakra to spare, so use as much as you need." "Thank you, Naruto," said Chiyo. The blue light gained its former size and then grew bigger as Naruto was feeding in his chakra. In this world of shinobi, created by bitter old people like myself, it is good to know that new souls like yourself has come along to change it. Everything I've done up to this point in my life has been wrong, but at least in the final hours right now, I can finally do something right for a change. The Sand and Konoha, I hope the future that await them be different from the one that was in my time. Don't worry, I'll make sure that our future is different from the war-torn era than it's been so far. I'm going to change the shinobi world," said Naruto. When Naruto first became a genin, his dream was to become Hokage. Now that he has become immortal, his Hokage dream was out of his reach. Who have ever heard of an immortal Kage, by the way? So if he couldn't become Hokage, then he would become someone even more powerful. A legend whose name went down in history. He would become the ninja who changed the ninja world. All of the pain and suffering because of stupid people fighting in stupid wars, he would end them all. A world without war, Jiraiya's dream. Lady Chiyo chuckled. "You are a very convincing child. You speak with such convictions and actions that I can't help but believe your words. Succeed, that you will, where the others have failed." Sakura said, "Chiyo, yes? In this future, help those who are closest to your heart. I can see it already inside of you. You have a powerful spirit, and you will surpass your master. I have no doubt about that. Tenten, I do not know what is troubling you, but I suggest you get over that conflict, because it will only lead to pain." Tenten seemed surprised. "Nothing get by you, does it? We barely spoke 10 words, and yet you knew that something was wrong." "Well, you see, I'm so old. I've already been in that position that you are right now." She then turned. "I know it's wrong of me, but I have a favor to ask you, Naruto Uzumaki. Please look after Gaara. You're the only one that understands his pain, and you understand your pain. You're the only one that can entrust this task to. You don't need to ask that favor of me. It was something I already sworn to do." "I am glad to hear that. With that, I can go in peace." As she started to fall, as Naruto caught her before she could fall though, as he passed her off to Sakura, as Temari kneeled in front of her brother, as Gaara started growing before slowly opening his eyes, as he tried to pick himself up but he was still hazy, as Temari and Naruto helped him up. "Hey Gaara, you okay?" said Naruto. "How many fingers am I holding up? Can you see properly?" "Shut up, you idiot," she said. Gaara was not knocked out, he was dead. Those are not the kind of questions you ask. As she then turned to Gaara. "How are you feeling, Gaara? Are you okay? How many fingers am I holding up?" "Oh sure," said Naruto. "I see how this is." "Naruto, Tamare, what's going on?" said Gaara, as more ninja had shown up when the reincarnation jutsu was going on. Did you rescue me?" Gaara asked, as Naruto gave him a smile. "Tried to, but I arrived too late." "The one who saved you was Lady Chiyo," said Naruto, as Gaara turned his head to see Sakura, as tears were in her eyes, as she was holding up, well, not moving Chiyo. Gaara tried to stand, but he was about to fall, but Naruto caught him. "I got you," Naruto said, as Naruto helped him up. "Everyone, pray for Chiyo-sama," said Gaara, as he bowed his head, as everyone followed his example, as they all went into a moment of silence. But guys, if you're in steps right here, for the next part of this, you know what to do. Like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notifications they posted. Remember to share to all of your friends in social media platform, and stay tuned for the rest of the what is coming your way. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoy each and every one of them. But I'm out for now. See you guys soon. Peace. I'm out of here, guys. Bye, guys.